What's up, everybody? I'm Justin, DoeFi Productions. I just want to take a few minutes, go through a breakdown of my newest track, Don't Go Yet. It's really cool, kind of Chris Stapleton, Justin Timberlake vibe. Kind of go through how I came up with all the parts for everything. Go over maybe a little bit of light mixing stuff. I just did a pretty quick mix on it, but still sounds good. So, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that I came up with when I was going through this track was this guitar part. I used my red Strat, come up with it. It's pretty cool. It's just follows a I'm in a new room, still figuring out the workflow. But we got literally just a D power chord up to like a F major 7 thing, then a C major 6 to an A minor 7 to a G, cycles through that again, then to an F chord to a G. So, to get the tone, I originally used the Neural DSP Archetype Rabia, which is a freaking killer plugin, but decided it wasn't really getting the vibe that I wanted for this song, so I'm using Corey Wong, which is also freaking phenomenal. Using the Amp Snob plugin, which is kind of a Dumble clone, is my understanding. Really straightforward tone-wise, some compression. I'm not really even pushing the gain on this overdrive. And then just some reverb with the shimmer on, and then a ping pong delay. Pretty straightforward. That sounds like this. Yeah. Okay, so then from there, I had that loop, right? And wanted to start putting in some percussion, right? I wasn't really thinking like a full drum beat, so I just found this percussion loop that I liked. Sounds like this. As that went, I started layering in claps on the quarter notes, and then snaps panned out left and right on the 2 and 4. For the snaps, I just used stock Logic Space Designer Reverb to just put some depth to it. Later on in the song, during the instrumental sections, or like the kind of after the chorus, after the hook, I wanted something that had a little bit more high end to it, so I used just this percussion loop that by itself sounds pretty cool. Then I put the kilohertz phaser on it just to give it a little bit of movement. But the real cool one here is the Sound Toys Crystallizer. This plugin is great if you just want to fuck up the sound. It sounds really cool. It kind of gives it this like self-oscillating, reverse reverb, delay, pitch shifting. It just sounds awesome. So when you put that into it, it sounds like this. It's got the ping pong going along with it. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. So that puts us at this guitar part with the percussion. So that already has a lot of groove to it. From there, I put together the keys parts. So there's just a really basic pad going on. For the keys, I used the Arturia Analog Lab and the V Collection to get the tones that I wanted. Chords-wise, we're still following pretty much the same thing. We're just voice leading the chords in sections to try to go through it with the least amount of movement possible. But the keys part sound like this. The first one is just a pad. the second one here is more of like a Rhodes piano kind of a sound. When you put them together, yeah, I painted that Rhodes over to the right a little bit just to give it a little bit of separation. You can probably see that I muted the bass notes that I originally had in the Rhodes just because I felt like it was clashing with the actual bass. So for that, I used the Slate Digital Anna 2 with one of the 808 presets. Literally just the Classics preset. Sounds awesome. Nothing fancy here, it's just following the root movement. Yep. So the keys, 808, the original guitar, and the percussion. Sounds like we got this going on. Yeah. So, like I said, I was doing using Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake as the reference for this track. So I kind of wanted an acoustic vibe going on. So I double tracked the acoustic part. I used my Martin and followed the same chord progression: D minor 7, C major 6, A minor 7, and then I did a G over B, and then cycle through that again: D minor 7, C major 6, A minor 7, F to G. Nothing real crazy here, it's just mostly following the groove, but the guitar sounds like we got this going on. Yeah, pretty straightforward, and then I just cut it in and out as it goes through the song. I used an acoustic reverb, the Verb Suite FG6000 room reverb, just to kind of give it a little bit of depth. So going through each transition, we've got some swells. The first one here, it's only a handful of them. We've got a cymbal swell, and then a piano, like a reversed piano thing. And those two things later together. Yeah, I just put a delay on the piano, and then on both of them I used the kilohertz phaser just to, again, give it some movement. What else? Okay, so in the instrumental section where I bring back that original lead guitar part, since the whole song started with that idea, and I really liked it, I think it just had a cool groove to it, kind of melodic, I wanted that to be the focus. So after what would be the chorus section, I bring in that main guitar part as like an instrumental, or that's where the hook would be. So rather than just sticking with the percussion parts, I went to the full kit. For the drums, I used the Get Good Drums Modern and Massive plugin. Freaking love that plugin. I love the flexibility of the different drums that you get. They sound incredible. It's just an awesome plugin. You can do a lot of the mixing of the drums within the plugin itself. What I ended up doing was I exported everything and then used on pretty much all of it a combination of Slate Digital Mix Rack and Infinity EQ, and then the Get Good Drums Smash and Grab. Awesome compressor when it comes to drum mixing, and probably anything, to be honest. So the drum groove sounds like this. Pretty cool. Throughout the whole song though, the kick drum hits really just on the downbeat of like every 4 bars or something like that. Oh, you know what I did? I took a break for a couple days working on this song and listened back to it and just felt that it needed more melody. So I just took a pass playing just some lead lines over the whole song. And that gives us this track. For this I'm using, again, just archetype Corey Wong, but with both overdrives to kind of give it a little bit more of a lead sound. And then throughout we've got some lead stuff like this. Yeah, just some lead fills. In the hook section, the instrumental section, it follows that keyboard part, the Rhodes piano part. So that part originally sounded like this. So I wanted something that follows that da-na. Yeah, I repeated that part, that little ending here, just because that's what I did coming out of the intro. And it's all about hooks. Any chance you get to create a hook, whether it's a melodic, like a vocal hook, or an instrumental hook, it's just all that ear candy, for lack of a better term. But anytime you can make something repetitive and melodic, it just gets stuck in people's heads. Just keeps things simple and catchy, you know? So then I ended up splitting that part. I played kind of a chordal thing in the chorus, and I used the same plugin but with the envelope filter, and handed over to the other side to give us this. Yeah. These guitars, the electric guitars, for each one of them, I've got them going into SSL channel strip. High pass to about 71 hertz, low pass to about 9.3K. Boosting a little bit of 7.5 or 8K. We're using the 4000 or the E console series. Widest band on 4.1K, just boosting that a little bit and then boosting around 600 to just give it a little bit of like low. And then cutting a little bit around 300 hertz just to get rid of some of the mud. But the big thing with this plugin that I really like is if you just max out the threshold and then dial the ratio down to about 1.1, 1.2, it just gives it this really cool snappiness, compresses the signal a lot, but it's not mixed in very much. It gives it a really full and defined sound. I love it. And then that's it. For the acoustic guitars, I bust the acoustic guitars together and then, again, have it going through the same plugin, 1.2 to 1. And then I used the Pultec EQ to just kind of add some polish to it a little bit. Everything else is pretty straightforward. The drums I've got going to tape, Slate Digital tape machine, SSL bus comp, and then the Pultec on the drum bus is really cool. Adds quite a bit of high end and just some punch. Hence the it's just like the drum kit punch and presence preset. So I take all the instruments, everything, and send it to an instrumental bus. On this instrumental bus, I took a lot of this from Adam Nolly Get Good. It sounds awesome. Got it going to the 4KG virtual mix bus in the Slate Digital virtual mix rack. Boosting a little bit of about 5K. and then boosting a little bit of 110, and then rolling off at about 35. In the FGN, which is like the Neve style, and then we've got the custom series, boosting a little bit of 12K just to give it a little bit of brightness and a little bit, like not even a full dB at 60. And the trimmer to just kind of pull back the level of everything. And then this is really, I think, the coolest thing. So the FG Gray is Slate's model of the SSL. Got a fast attack, fastest release, 4:1 ratio. The high pass is to 35 hertz. And then the threshold is really just the taste. So when the snare hits, you get about 3 dB of gain reduction, and when the kick hits, you get about 1 dB of gain reduction. So it just, you can get the kick and the snare to really hit hard, but not be poking out of the mix at all. It sounds awesome. And I've got the black box tube. Yeah, just to kind of give it a little bit of saturation, a little bit of fullness. And then the pull tech again. And that's pretty much it. On the master, I've got tape and then the God Particle. For the God Particle, it's pretty straightforward. I just open the plugin up and let it do its thing. I really like the monitoring here. That helps a lot. Especially the low end, just because the low end can kind of get away from me at times. And that's it. So, let's take a listen to it from the top. guys, that wraps that up. Really just a lot of layering of guitar parts. Guitar parts and keys and different synths and whatnot. And then just adding a cool groove behind it. That's really all there is. Yeah, thanks for checking it out. I've got a lot more in store. So, yeah, thanks everybody.